Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're about to totally dismantle everything we think we know about the physical aging process. I mean, think about it. We spend literal billions of dollars every single year on these complex 12-step skincare routines, handfuls of supplements, and extreme diets. We are totally convinced that aging is just this physical war we have to fight from the outside. But what if true youthfulness is actually an inside job? Today, we're exploring the fascinating science and the deep psychology behind why some people seem virtually untouched by time. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever had that moment of pure disbelief? You meet someone, maybe a super vibrant 70-year-old, and their energy, their lightness, their whole presence is just so incredible that when they finally tell you their chronological age, it genuinely feels like a typo, right? The math simply doesn't add up. Most of us just shrug and chalk it up to hitting the genetic lottery or, I don't know, drinking a gallon of water every day. But the research reveals a much, much deeper truth.
We are actually looking at a massive paradigm shift here. How we age isn't just about the ticking of a clock. It's actually a profound reflection of our emotional flexibility and our inner peace. The way you process whatever life throws at you, the relationship you maintain with your own inner life, and how genuinely alive you remain to yourself. These things shape your aging experience in ways that go far deeper than any expensive serum ever could. And we're not just talking about nice philosophy here. This is hard biological reality.
To really get this, we have to look under the microscope at the science of epigenetics. So inside every single cell of your body, you have DNA. And at the very ends of these DNA strands are tiny caps called telomeres. Think of them exactly like those little plastic tips on the ends of your shoelaces that stop the whole thing from fraying and falling apart. Science has proven that our cells are constantly listening to our thoughts and our emotions. When we're living in a constant state of overwhelming anxiety, worry, or fear, these protective caps literally start to shrink. Now, what's really interesting about this is the staggering data behind it. Research actually shows that carrying immense chronic mental stress can physically age a person a full decade faster on a cellular level. 10 years. Your body doesn't just treat your stress as some passing feeling. No, it takes it as a direct biological command, literally instructing your cells to grow old at an accelerated pace. When chronic stress pushes your psyche into survival mode, your tissues literally deteriorate. Your cortisol spikes and your body wastes precious energy constantly bracing for perceived threats. But on the flip side, when you cultivate a deep internal steadiness, true inner peace, your body stops fighting those invisible battles. Instead, it uses all of that beautiful energy to actively repair cellular wear and tear. Your nervous system relaxes, and that calm, quiet strength literally becomes visible in your face. This brings us to an absolutely fascinating concept about time itself, because time on a clock is objective, sure, but lived time is deeply subjective. Think about grief or the loss of a mirrored identity. When a painful event happens and the mind gets trapped in a ruminative loop of regret, you enter what is essentially a temporal prison. You literally stop moving forward. This creates a massive cognitive dissonance and chronic internal stress. And the body? It responds to this lack of forward momentum with physical fatigue and premature aging. When your spirit loses its momentum, your biology quickly follows suit.
So the crucial point here is how we handle that pain. The brilliant psychologist Carl Jung made this incredible distinction between simply letting life harden you, accumulating suffering, versus actually integrating it. When life hits you hard and you just accumulate the pain, it sits there, totally undigested. It crystallizes into bitterness, creating this hardened emotional shell that ages you rapidly. But when you integrate that suffering, when you metabolize it so it becomes part of the fuller story of who you are, it deepens into wisdom and resilience. It brings this softness to your eyes that people instinctively register as youth.
Another massive factor in how we age is what Jung called the persona. This is the social mask we all construct to survive and conform. It's your customer service voice, right? Or that highly curated version of yourself you bring to a tense family dinner. Now, having a persona isn't inherently a bad thing. It's functional social intelligence. But the inevitable psychological burden becomes incredibly heavy when this managed, performed version of yourself becomes so dominant that the real you is barely breathing underneath it. I actually want you to stop and think about this for a second. Can you feel the physical tension in your jaw or your shoulders right now? There's a very real, deep exhaustion that comes from constantly managing how other people perceive you. Your body keeps a record of this ongoing performance. It shows up in forced expressions, tight muscles, this overall physical heaviness. When you're always performing, you are literally draining your own life force. Exactly.
When you subordinate your true, authentic self to that managed version for years on end, something vital begins to erode. You drain your vitality. But conversely, the people who look the youngest, they've done the brave work of setting that heavy social mask down. When you stop performing, there's this visible physical relief, a relaxation in your face and your posture. What emerges is true authenticity, and that unself-conscious realness reads to everyone around you as pure aliveness. And this brilliantly illustrates what that authenticity looks like in daily practice. The ages share these practical, almost stoic habits that keep the body and mind flexible. They embrace change instead of rigidly fighting it. They actively release past grudges because they know holding on is biological poison. They express emotions freely. They cultivate internal calmness. They maintain a razor-sharp curiosity about the world, and they fiercely protect their peace. These aren't just nice lifestyle tips. These are literal anti-aging mechanisms. Now, central to maintaining that deep curiosity is what Jung called the inner child. Let me be very clear here. This is absolutely not about immaturity or dodging your responsibilities. It is a living dimension of your psyche. It's the part of you that still pauses at something genuinely beautiful without requiring it to be useful. It's your capacity for uncalculated joy and spontaneous curiosity. When you preserve this deeply undefended and genuine aliveness to the world, your face actually moves differently. That spark in your eyes, no cosmetic procedure can manufacture that. Let's look at a sharp contrast of how this plays out when life inevitably gets tough. Your internal reaction to adversity directly dictates your external physical vitality. The hardened mind builds walls. It crystallizes into bitterness, leading to a rigid, tired, and heavily aged physical state. But the fluid mind, it processes the pain, it adapts, and it absolutely insists on staying open. The result is a soft, expressive, and undeniably youthful glow. Your mindset literally sculpts your visible energy. Let's move on and see how this builds into Jung's ultimate concept, individuation. This is the lifelong process of continuous personal growth, of becoming more fully and consciously yourself. It's the profound understanding that you are never entirely finished growing. The people who age the fastest are often the ones who have simply decided their worldview is complete, their habits are permanently set, and they have nothing left to discover. It really boils down to this ongoing process of becoming. You remain open to change, allowing life to expand you rather than shrink you. You integrate your experiences, turning your deepest pains into your greatest wisdom. And you relentlessly continue discovering. The people who carry a youthfulness that time simply cannot touch are the ones who outright refuse to declare themselves a finished product. They are always still in motion. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Are you trapped in a loop? Weighed down by the masks you wear and the grudges you carry? Or are you still unfolding? Are you still becoming? True youth isn't about fighting the calendar. It's about reclaiming your curiosity, integrating your pain, and choosing to stay vibrantly alive from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you leave here today ready to keep discovering.